Most producers think Ableton's amp is only for guitars, but it's actually one of the most versatile sound-shaping tools inside Live. Amp was developed with Softube and models 7 classic amplifiers that cover everything from polished cleans to total chaos. Each one has its own personality and purpose. Clean is based on the brilliant channel of a 60s British amp, the kind you hear all over the early rock era. Boost comes from the tremolo channel of the same amp and adds sharp edge and grit. Blues is modeled after a bright 70s amp that shines on country blues and classic rock. Rock comes from a legendary 45-watt amplifier that defined the sound of 60s guitar music. Lead and Heavy are 2 separate models based on a famous high-gain amp used by metal guitarists. Lead captures the tighter, more modern channel, while Heavy emulates the vintage side with a thicker, fuzzier tone. Bass is modeled after a rare 70s public address amp that bassists later adopted for its huge low end and fuzzy top when pushed hard. The beauty of Amp is that all 7 models share the same simple controls. Gain sets the input level and determines how much distortion you get. Volume shapes the output of the power section and can also add saturation in the blues, heavy, and bass models. The bass, middle, and treble knobs form a true analog-style EQ, meaning they interact with each other. Turning up treble might slightly reduce low and mid frequencies, just like a real amp. Presence adds high-frequency clarity and bite. The output switch changes between mono and stereo processing, called dual mode, which doubles CPU use, but gives a wider sound. Finally, dry and wet let you blend between the original signal and the processed tone. For the most authentic results, follow Amp with the cabinet effect. Guitar amps are designed to be paired with physical speaker cabinets, and cabinet recreates that part of the sound. If you want something more experimental, skip the cabinet and keep amp on its own. The result is rawer and more open, great for synths, drums, or sound design. Amp reacts like analog gear, meaning you sometimes need to balance multiple knobs to find the sweet spot. Boosting one EQ band may pull energy from another. Small changes go a long way. Try using Amp on operator or analog to add grit, on drums for texture, or even on vocals for controlled distortion. You don't need a rack of plugins to add warmth and character, you just need to understand what one effect can do when you learn to drive it right. Want to master Amp and other effects inside Ableton Live? Comment Ableton and we'll DM you the link to our free Ableton Live tools and resources.